the Weather Center this afternoon with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. He's ready to answer a few of your weather-related questions. All right, the first one has a fun little word in there.
Yeah, and I'm going to clarify, I'm ready to answer your questions at home, not Heather's questions.
That's
she does have a question.
right. And here's the first one. You're talking about the Fujiwhara effect on TV a lot this week, and I've never heard of it before. What is it? I'm with our viewer here.
Yeah, so the Fujiwhara effect, it happens, and it's nothing more than just the pattern that emerges when you get a certain setup, more common in the tropics, but occasionally it can happen over land. And we're going to walk through that here. It has to do with Helene. Now, we're keeping an eye on Helene as it moves to the north. The path brings it into Florida Thursday evening. Going to be a real bad storm there. But notice this northwestward turn, this northwestward shift in that. Very unusual for a tropical system to do that. Typically, our weather goes from west to east, right? So if we want some sort of tropical help, we got to get something coming into Texas that then ricochets off to the east and that. Well, what happens here is the Fujiwhara effect plays over. What this is just two cyclonic vortices, a low-pressure system and a tropical system. That means they have spin in them. They get close enough together where they start to kind of interact and merge together, and that's what we see here. This graphic here shows us vorticity. Vorticity is just the amount of spin measured in the atmosphere. Of course, a low-pressure system has spin. Of course, a hurricane has spin, as we see here. And watch as the two come together. Notice as they get close by, this one starts to almost tango and dance with that one. And you can see it kind of merge in to become one blob of vorticity, one blob of energy in there. It's just the phasing of those two effects. This is what it looks like on paper. We've got Helene over there. We've got the upper level low here. As they come around, if you drew it out in perfect fashion, you would see this general process where those two pieces of energy join together to become one. It's not a wedding in the weather world, but it might as well be. Another way to look at it is with upper air temperatures. The low pressure system here, the upper level low, is a cold core. So you can see that bluish color indicating cold air aloft. And then we've got this warm core down here, Helene. Hurricanes are warm core low pressure systems. And you kind of see them dancing around each other. Again, see that carrying upwards and they start to phase. And they'll phase together right overhead here. Now, we're not getting a hurricane. It's not the day after tomorrow, nothing like that. But what it will mean is just prolonged rain chances for us here as we get some tropical moisture and a fairly stout low pressure system overhead. There's that upper level low. Here comes the tropical system, and they kind of merge together. All that's going to do is pull tropical moisture in our way and gives us days and days of shower chances around here, Heather, which... Their homecoming coming up some weekends around here?
We've still got a few weeks, so I feel confident that we'll be fine. It's like dancing with the tropical storms or something.
It's dancing with the low-pressure stars. Like that. So it's always interesting to see how they come together. Again, it doesn't mean that we're getting hurricane winds here. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's just the motion that brings them together. And for us, probably means some wet weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. Maybe even beyond that.
Okay, we're about out of time, but we got one more question.
We do, don't we?
Are you ready? Okay. Yep. Is it unusual to have a storm system like Helene come our way?
Yeah, and that's the unusual thing about this is typically, again, you know, those weather systems come from the west. This is a look at all these lines here are tropical systems that have moved through the center low. The remnant lows have moved through the state of Illinois. Again, you see that general, they come in on the Gulf, and then they curve back to the east. Helene is out on its own. This, if the remnant circulation can hold together and make it into central Illinois, will be the only time that we've ever recorded since 1850 that a system has done this here. Very unusual, very cool, I guess, in some ways, to see this backwards flow. Because, again, typically you got weather systems pushing things that way, but Helene will buck the trend and come in from the east. We've not had a tropical system come through Indiana into Illinois. Normally weather happens in Illinois, goes into Indiana. It's pretty fascinating, isn't it?
Ooh, yeah, I love being part of history.
Yeah, I know. It seems like we've been a part of a lot of it. And again, I want to clarify, Helene is not a big wind maker for us. We do not get hurricanes in Illinois, but often we get the remnants of those circulations. Once a hurricane makes landfall, of course, it feeds on warm ocean waters, starts to dissipate, break apart, but that tropical moisture will still come our way. And that's what we'll probably see. It may even be a tropical depression when it comes on through. So we'll see.
Stay tuned. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. If you have a question for Jacob that maybe he can answer next week, there's how you can connect with him. And we'll look forward to being back with him again next week.